Yeah,
Okay,
but I did
so
create a character.
this is the autoplay screen, kind of in the background here. This is Crystallis here with Visago, just kind of talking about what we're doing. I'm slowly playing through the game, doing everything, as I've mentioned. Every class, every role, I'm going to grind it all out. Um, why not, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to add,
yeah,
I have the original DVD from when it first came out.
the game,
The game, September 30th, 2010.
right. So
And
that's when it started for
yes.
Crystallis. Um, she'd been talking about it forever, and I was hesitant. It even has your original Square Enix members
Yeah.
piece here. It's got everything. What do you got in here? Registering the game with an item code. You should probably try to register the game with this.
For
Can you still get the Garland goggles?
I don't
You should
know.
you should try because that's actually little Garland goggles are in game. Uh, try to get.
Not to mention
You have the book
the
too.
famous book that no longer exists
Yeah,
for the original.
that's crazy. So as we all know, they Square Enix got the idea to sacrifice their game, have it die on the vine, or throw it on the mercy of the players, and basically cataclysmed their original version of the game. This is Final Fantasy 14 online, and this is pre-reborn, obviously. Um, so the original version, like version one, if you can even, was this even version one? Not really. I guess it's alpha and beta tested before this, and this came out, and I mean it was so bad they actually had a TP meter in it. I'm not really 100% sure what that went for, but at least here in America, TP is short for toilet paper. So um, that's what they thought. Like there's a toilet paper meter, right? It was bad. It was bad. I mean, it had great parts. Don't get me wrong.
There was a lot of sections that they were trying to develop, and
Yeah,
it was just empty space, and it was
on a good day.
roped off.
On a
Yeah.
good day.
But I remember going to it because I was also playing World of Warcraft, and I went to it, and I couldn't believe the graphics compared to World of Warcraft. But I was a diehard World of Warcraft fan, and so instead of paying the money for this, I went back to World of Warcraft.
If the gameplay's not there, it's not worth it.
They at the time you could take on different of the crafting, and I was doing logging.
Wait, you still can.
You still can, but I was it was a mini game, and
Yeah.
it was really annoying. I didn't like it. I liked how they marked the trees that could be logged. It was sparkling at the time.
It still is. I
I'm
just did that last night.
I just started getting back into this. I have stopped playing World of Warcraft, and
Well, when the gameplay suffers, the gameplay suffers. There's nothing short about it.
it was hard to keep up with World of Warcraft because they
Yeah.
just kept adding stuff, and if you didn't like the area, you were stuck there for many levels.
One expansion. You're stuck for an expansion at minimum.
The water part of World of Warcraft,
Yeah,
he can attest.
that was
I
bad.
detested it. It was bad. I
But
absolutely hated
the
it.
the one upside being that you had a seahorse mount.
Yes.
That was about it. Um, yeah, that's actually the benefit. That's it. That's all
the
there was.
He was a higher level at the time, so he got me through it
Barely.
rather quickly.
Barely.
But it just I hated.
I think we actually leveled past it by going to other content and leveling our XP around it. So we kind of skipped that whole quest area. was just bad. And it wasn't really, I mean, it was kind of pertinent to the main story, but it was like, just take these, 10 or 15 quests and just plow right through. Don't do side quests in the area. Just get out of there, right? So, um, yeah, so she got into it earlier than I did, and as WoW keeps getting worse, having other problems, decided, I'm tired of a game that just kind of fails. And not really fails, just looking for something that works for me. New World is pretty good. I got up to like level 30 before I stopped, and I'm actually re-rolling that completely, doing a new character. I don't want to give up on it. It's too new. Um, it's only been out from, at this point, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4,
The
or less, 3 weeks maybe.
bad reviews and the
Yeah.
deleting of the characters scares me of New World, so I haven't
Oh,
even opened it.
That's actually not New World. That was the launch of Diablo 2 Resurrected. so, so we want to talk about that one at all?
I have many, 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 many hours
Yeah.
in
Diablo, Lord of Destruction, the original, not the new. In my opinion, graphically it looks better, but they have completely dropped the ball.
I
That's
I have installed it, but I haven't actually played it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's only as long as Blizzard says yes, you can use our server. That's what it comes down to.
Back in when it first came out, we were gaming on it for hours as groups, and
LANs, literally in living rooms.
LAN parties was the thing. You would haul your computers over to friends' houses, set up card tables, set up on the floor, wherever we had room.
There's one benefit. There was one benefit, and that was because the LAN and multiplayer, with the ladder system in the original, the your heraldic cube would only give you certain effects. The runes that you stack up and the rune words. The ladder system had the most up to date patches. It was ran by Battle.net. It was a real basic version of it. I think they've ceased that service at this point, but it had rune words that you couldn't get in multiplayer or local LAN versions or solo versions. And in the new version, they are all turned on: solo, campaign, single player, or the online play, not just the latter. That's a big one. You can actually use those rune words, but that's it. That's really the only benefit. The cost of that, they've completely landlocked Diablo 2's online multiplayer game to their servers. There's no way for me to pull my character out and even put it back on the legacy version. You're just stuck. Waiting for
starting from the beginning.
What?
Creating new characters every time.
Yeah. I mean, you create a lot of characters, but you can also back them up and save them. I mean, I still have 20-year-old save files that I could load up. Now you can import those into the new version, but then they're stuck. Everything past that, you can't get them backwards. They've added some files in there that break between the two. That'd be interesting for maybe a more resourceful person than I to figure out how to go backwards, take one of the new characters, save it, even multiplayer, put it back in that multiplayer LAN version so you can all play. Give it some time and they'll probably figure that out. Who knows? If the capability is there to take an old version and squeeze it into the new version, it's just text files that get updated in some kind of encoding or like a kind of a crossover where they just kind of change the file format. There's always a way back. You just got to find someone to be able to do it. That's all it is. So we have this playing in the background, and this is kind of the loading screen, click here to play, and you wait long enough, and you're treated to kind of the opening credits for Shadowbringer, and just kind of the game in general. And I can tell you right now, this is great. This right here is really what sealed the deal when I was, the first thing I did was I did the trial version. So I did the Final Fantasy 14 trial, which is astounding. They give you 60 out of 80 levels to trial. Amazing, right? And that is where I was kind of introduced to the cutscenes, and I started realizing if the gameplay supports it, this could be amazing. WoW has lost its WoW factor, as odd as that sounds.
They can still fix it.
They can. They need to up their game.
We're crossing our fingers that they still will.
It's not about WoW. It's not about the game. It's not about the structure of the game. It's honestly about their management. And I know there's been some scandal recently. Here we are, middle of November. Yeah, middle of November. And I know there's been some scandal recently, well, within the past month or two, regarding management there and kind of its interaction in the 2021 lens of culture, at least here in America. And there's some knee jerking going on at Blizzard where they're taking out a picture of a girl over a fireplace in WoW and replacing it with a bowl of fruit. Literally a picture of a bowl of fruit. You know what? Go search on YouTube. You'll find it. It's pretty hilarious. They're wasting their time going into dead servers and updating the game to remove a picture of, a skimpily clad lady on a I think it was a bench or something. Konami warehouse explosion. Lake 9. No, I didn't. I can't say I've been able to keep up with that. Konami is in the game developer warehouse. I mean, not that our supply lines are great in North America right now, but that can only hurt, the games coming into the nation for sure. If they lost a lot of their warehouse stock, that could really hurt.
I didn't hear about that.
Just mentioned it in chat. Is let's see, Lake 9. I've not heard about that at all. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. That could really hurt game supply, at least for that developer. The way the developers work these days, I'm not sure how many they keep just sitting around warehousing them. I would suppose they probably send those out to distributors, but yeah, that could be bad, especially for Konami. I'm sure there's other games that impacts, of course. Also, Konami goes way back. I kind of grew up playing the Metal Gear Solid series. Well, before Metal Gear Solid, it was just Metal Gear on the Nintendo. And they were great for their time, and they still are, actually, the whole series. So that can't be good. And Konami, with that, you kind of track Konami back into Capcom and how close they got with the Resident Evil series. I've kind of been a long fan of all those, really playing them all, playing all those things. So that's bad to hear. I'll have to do a little bit of research. Hopefully there wasn't loss of life or anything. It's kind of hard to say what could have happened. I didn't even know they actually ran a warehouse. I mean, obviously there's storage of any company, but if it was big enough for an explosion or something close to it that took out maybe part of the warehouse, we'll have to look into that. And I'll spare people the time of me basically searching it for no reason right now, just to read about it and bore everyone. But I'll research. We're going to have a recap on that one. I'll take note. Thank you.
So I just started getting into the game. I'm on the trial. I have a hard time paying.
Yeah.
For games, per monthly.
That's where the 60 levels comes in great. You can try it
Yeah.
for 60 levels.
But I have a level 8 character, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
The graphics just are amazing compared to other games. I can't believe.
Yeah.
I grew up with Nintendo. I started playing back in 1995. Or 1995, 19 like 85 around Nintendo,
It's
and
even worse.
yes, I know.
It's even worse.
My cousins came over with a Nintendo, and so I started playing then, and I haven't stopped playing video games. And my brother was playing also, and he kind of played a little bit through college and then stopped. And so now I'm the only one left of my two cousins and my brother actually playing video games. And I really, really prefer the computer to the other ones, but I do own an Xbox.
Yes.
I owned a PlayStation 3 at one point.
We actually have 2 or 3 PlayStation 3s between the two of us. Two of them.
I had my own, and he had his. I have over 100 hours in Oblivion.
Yeah.
But it was the first game I played that was the graphics were amazing, and it took me a while to get used to it because I was just in awe of all of the graphics. And now, because the graphics didn't really matter to me, but it was the gameplay. But now that I started playing Final Fantasy 14,
you can have both.
You can have both.
Everything, after probably 2000 and probably close to 2015, things started to really change. And, even back to like Metal Gear Solid 3, you started realizing that you can have really good gameplay and really good graphics. Back in the day, I remember, what was it, Grand Theft Auto, was it Vice City or 3 or something like that, the very first one where it's still blocky characters. It was hugely popular, open world, terrible graphics, but the gameplay was top of the class. Same with WoW.
Played the original where it was a overview.
Overhead 2D. Yep.
Oh, we played that game on LAN parties for
interestingly enough,
many hours.
Grand Theft Auto 3 or 2, the one right before they went to the 3D was the last version where there was children in the game. Yeah, if you look back in history. So, after that point, every NPC in the game is actually an adult. In the earlier versions of Grand Theft Auto 1 and Grand Theft Auto 2, there was actually smaller NPCs walking around, and those were children. I'm not sure how much they referenced that in the game, but that is what they were, and they took those out, probably for the better, to be quite honest. But you also notice there's no schools. There are school buses, but there's not really any internal school scenarios in those games. Those came out kind of right around that violence transformative years of North America. But that's okay. It was still a great game, right? And yeah, there's still a lot of violence in the Grand Theft Auto series. Anywho. Just a little, just a few. Sidewalk Road, same thing, right? No. So, that kind of lines up where we kind of come from and in our background. A lot of games, a lot of PC games. There for a while, I prefer PC just because of the options of games. There's something to be said about sitting on your couch and sitting back and relaxing and having a controller and playing a game. That being said, when I play PC, my load times are faster. I am usually faster than the other people in the same game that are loading in. I'm basically watching them load a lot of times.
He's a keyboard ninja.
I'm pretty decent on a keyboard. I like having the buttons. Mouse, you have however many buttons you can stick on a mouse, but then the natural English keyboard is 101 buttons. You have 101 options, not counting the alternates and the controls. and the alternations of those buttons. So it's just interesting that, you know, you go to a hand controller and you have 15 or 16, maybe 20 button options. Massive difference to me. Yes, you have to pay more for a computer. I get it.
And if you're playing with multiple people, you each have to purchase the game as opposed to split screen on a gaming system.
But how many games these days are made with split screen? They don't even do it anymore.
They do for the
few.
Nintendo Switch.
They do for the Switch,
which
that
is great.
True.
It is a great family
Yep.
Gaming system. Nintendo rocks it in family gaming.
Yeah, Nintendo in general has done really good with that. That being said, none of the Nintendo games are on PC. How many of the Xbox and PlayStation games can you get on PC also? So you have an option. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of crossover, but when it comes to Nintendo, they've always had a kind of a gated garden. But that's why I tend to gravitate towards PC myself. So,
I've always had a good PC that I was relied on.
Yeah.
I used it for school, and
Yep.
so I built it to play
Between
games.
between work and school, you have a decent computer. You might as well run what you can.
My last PC I had built because I'm not very good with hardware. I'm more software oriented. He's more hardware.
Except printers. I can't
Except
do printers.
I'm
Won't do them.
all about printers apparently. So I always had a PC, and I had my last PC built to run StarCraft 2. I made sure that it had all the requirements to run StarCraft 2, and I spent so much money on the PC that I could not afford StarCraft 2. So
and then I mentioned that I built my StarCraft 2 rig on $600.
Yeah.
$600 and a hope and a dream.
I had it specially built because I was scared to touch the internals, and it's water cooled, and it. I was back in 2009, I think, and 2010, and so now I have to upgrade it because all the fans are giving out on me, and since it was custom built by another company, I can't go in and modify anything because nothing will fit the case.
So there's literally no fans of your PC.
No, my PC has no fans. It has fans, they just don't work anymore. They gave out on me. So I'm in the process of trying to convert it to a better PC.
We have one. We
have one. I found one used. A guy had to sell it because he was moving, and he can play World of Warcraft on it. So I'm gonna hope between the two.
Well, your computer can play World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I can play World of Warcraft on probably a T85 calculator from 2001. That was kind of the beauty of World of Warcraft, is you could play it on basically anything. I mean, just turn down the graphics a little bit, but the gameplay's still there. I would hate to try to put Final Fantasy with the graphics on anything slower than a decent laptop. Even a decent laptop might start getting pretty hot and chugging. But anymore, I mean, you go to the store, you go to Walmart, you're going to buy one that meets the specs easily. Of course, we're on desktop right now. Better camera, so more comfort. But yeah, so Final Fantasy 14, they're doing everything right now. There's been a lot of talk about WoW killers probably the past 15 years, 10 years minimum, something like that. And no one's done it. No one's really been able to kill WoW. Not that they've wanted to. I think the guy that rewrote, once they did the reborn on Final Fantasy 14, it is now Final Fantasy 14 Online, A Realm Reborn, and then three expansions after that. And they're working on a fourth called Endwalker. So I'm excited about that. They're bringing a couple of new classes and an actual end to the main storyline. So I think that there's a lot of, you say, well, Final Fantasy 14, obviously there's 13 games before it. Are they going to end it? I think that is a business dictates. I really do. They could end it. They were probably looking at it and thinking, well, maybe we do. But with everything they put into it and rewriting it, and honestly, with Blizzard kind of sinking its own ship, um, just not paying attention and losing it, everyone's saying, I mean, look at the charts. WoW lost like 75% of the player base. And I have Shadowlands. I do. I have Shadowlands. I played it for a while. I got leveled up. I got there, and I think around the second patch, maybe the first or second patch, I was done with the grind. Done out. Not going to do it. Um, it's just not good. I heard they went. I remember buying the game when it had like 10 million plus players, and she's actually looking for the original game disc. We have them. We have 2 sets minimum. Uh, which one? Oh, yeah. So these were.
That was the
wow, that's
expansion.
Warlords of Draenor. Yeah, that's.
We do have 2 copies of that, but
we have 2 copies. Yeah, but man, that at some point they actually stopped selling the hard copies, right?
I started with World of Warcraft, the original.
Here, I got it. Yeah, the original DVD. Not much.
Of course,
there.
it came in like this huge box, and.
Well, I remember it was before GameStop. I think it was Babbage's. And they had these little guys sitting off in a little rack there on the counter, and you go up and you just pull it off and buy it. I think they did have boxes too. She's got Guild Wars here and everything. But yeah, so we've been around a while watching all these. And so that's when we just kind of decided, don't mind World of Warcraft, but it's gotten to a point where the money grubbing has gotten really bad. Not going to lie, Final Fantasy has the same pay scale. There's no tokens that you can buy for free game time that I know of. I've not really looked. WoW got into that. Final Fantasy, I'm sure, still has bots and scammers and all that, but it's not as bad. It doesn't seem as bad. Even New World, Amazon's new super hyped and then super quick die off game, has them already, advertising golden coins that you can buy. I can't say Final Fantasy 14 has a lot of that. Probably because a lot of people just say, "Well, I'm just gonna quest and grind for my own stuff. I'm not gonna pay for it. I don't want pay to win." It's a different. A lot of people say MMO RPG, and there's a lot of streamers talking about how Final Fantasy 14 is really RPG MMO, and they kind of stated how RPG is kind of the central to their game with MMO tucked in behind it, and that's massive. So we have the original games. Of course, tried Guild Wars for a while.
I played Guild Wars for a while. I had trouble with it. I was on my own.
Yeah.
They had the phasing on it, where you went inside and everybody was there, and then when you went out into the world, it was just you, unless you were in a party. And I do have the original Guild Wars with the box and
Nightfall and Factions.
Yeah, it still has all the
books.
The
4 discs to install that sucker.
Yeah, the disc. I just can't bring myself to get rid of it because I was playing that because I bought it and then I could play it for free. I was on a tight budget at the time, and I thought I could buy a game. And at the time, you could go anywhere and buy used games where I lived, computer games, but now they don't have.
Oh, no,
because of all the codes and the digital downloads with Steam and Battle.net. There's Good Old Games, Epic Games. it's all linked to your account now. So,
Yep. Steam has been a godsend in a world of dying PC sales.
because I have bought
a few
Diablo 2 like 2 times
Yeah.
because I lost the original disc.
Yep.
And now luckily it's linked to my Battle.net account, so I don't have to worry about trying to keep all these boxes with the game codes in them. And I even had an Excel sheet with all my game codes in them, so I could copy and paste and make it a little bit easier. But when I switched computers but yeah, I love Steam, and Steam has offers on free games that I download them all, add them to my account, but I don't install them.
Yeah, in general, I'm not necessarily walking away from Battle.net or Blizzard, I should say at this point, but they've definitely taken a back seat for sure.
I mean, they were the top games. I mean, at the time, and I absolutely love Blizzard.
At the time when?
Back in 2001, my dream was to actually code and go work for Blizzard.
I'm going to Google this real quick because there's actually 2 companies.
Well, it was it was for Diablo 2 when.
Okay, so Blizzard North is actually the one you're thinking of. Blizzard North is the one that made Diablo and StarCraft, the originals, and they went out in 2005. So early 2000s, yeah, they were Blizzard North. But Blizzard, the company that is still around, they kind of did the Warcraft, and they kind of took the mantle of Diablo and StarCraft, and they can't really do much with those original legacy titles because they don't really own them. That's why Diablo 2 Resurrected, I have a feeling they were waiting for some intellectual property and legal runouts. Who knows? They've been trying to, figure out how to keep that game back in their register of paid games for years. Same with StarCraft. You could always download it from them.
That was back when it was just C++ and Linux. Was it?
Yeah, but you can never really play.
Well,
games
no,
on Linux operating systems.
But that was like the only coding back in that time, really. And then HTML was coming out, and I got into HTML to do a website.
You're talking early websites, though.
Yeah, and that's when I learned HTML.
Blizzard North, a lot of their employees left, and they started the Path of Exile franchise game system. Grinding Gears or something like that, but I can't remember. But Path of Exile is the kind of the existential cousin of Diablo 2, and unfortunately with Blizzard we're stuck with Diablo 3, complete and utter garbage. That's coming from someone with over 1,000 hours in that game. Easily over 1,000 hours. I have a Demon Hunter with over 500 hours alone. Many hours. I lived through the auction house train wreck. The actual auction house that used money in the very beginning, so you could literally go on and pay someone $2 in US dollars for a piece of digital gear, or get scammed out of it. And then they revised that and went to the actual gold warehouse. And I think that a version still exists in there, maybe, but it's been so long since I've even opened the game, let alone checked the auction house. It's worthless.
So does Final Fantasy have any type of auction house or any selling like that? Because I'm only a level 8 character just starting to get into it.
They split it apart. So there's like the NPCs that can buy and sell stuff for like 3. So gold in Final Fantasy is called Gil. If you don't happen to know that, I don't know who would not know that. But you're watching this stream, you probably already know that. But so the gil, maybe 2, 3, 4 gil for some just scrap stuff. There is a marketplace board, kind of like a post board, almost like at college, where you put the piece of paper with the little phone numbers and what you're selling and how much, kind of like an auction system. And that is in there. You just have to walk to it and go through there. I've not really done much digging on that, really. My character right now just popped level 2021 area. First, I think I did a short video this morning, episode 6 or something. I popped level 20 to 21. Did my first dungeon, a little over leveled for it, but it's always fun doing that level 15 dungeon as your first dungeon as a level 19 and just blasting stuff hard. It's always fun. But that's just because there's so many side missions. Yeah.
I like how you always know where to go.
Usually.
It seems that the missions are a lot easier to do. You can open the map and it shows you where it is, and it's usually
you have to explore the map a little.
Yeah, but
once you find it, you can actually zoom in on settlements and stuff and actually find those missions.
Sparkling, and you can.
There's sorry, not trying to interrupt. There's actually a designation you can tell the side quests. There's a side quest like with a plus. The red ones are you're not leveled up or you're not the right class for, but there's a certain icon for main quest. So you can literally pinpoint and go through main quest to main quest to main quest, or you can segregate it into your classes so you can rank up just your classes if you don't want to progress the main storyline. So you have really a lot of control over your gameplay as it is. Everything that took WoW 20 years to incorporate, their HUDs, the heads-up display with all the bars and toolbars. Over the years, Square Enix has cooked it into their games too, so it's built in. It's already built in. There's like 12.
This
toolbars.
Isn't their first MMO.
No.
I believe there was one on one of the PlayStations.
Yes. I don't remember which one, but it was Final Fantasy XI, I believe. And that was possibly worse than this was when it first came out.
And I knew people that lived and breathed that game.
Yeah.
That's the hours.
Is that the one that had the huge talent tree? The big talent tree?
I can't remember. Map. I actually never played it.
Yeah.
I've played a few Final Fantasy games on the Nintendo DS that I absolutely loved. So, and I've tried to Final Fantasy just kept coming out with games, and I mean now we're at 14, and I've lost track. Like after
my first one was Final Fantasy VII, of course, as so many other people's were. The gameplay was good, and the cutscenes were even better.
What type of game was it?
It was an RPG. It was like a RPG kind of timed job kind of game. But the graphics were rough. It was like PlayStation 1 or something like that. It was rough. But it was, for the time, it was great. Great graphics, great cinematographics, great storytelling. And I think Square Enix has been attempting to recapture what they had with 7. I think they've been trying to recapture that for years. It's hard. It's really hard to do. I think it was like a mishap almost. Like, oh man, we created such a great game and storyline. How do we match that? And I think finally, over the past, I don't know, 8 years that this game has been going on, they finally have kind of hit upon something where WoW is essentially poking holes in the bottom of its own life raft at this point. I mean, the best thing for WoW is to do what anybody does in an RPG when it's going so badly, is you call a mulligan and you reroll and put new people in play.
Final Fantasy did come out with a movie, The Spirits Within.
Get out of the room.
Come on.
Oh, it's bad.
July.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was released July 2nd, 2001, and I went and saw it.
Re-released.
No, that's when the movie came out. It was released. And I went and saw it, and the graphics, I couldn't believe the graphics of that. I mean, there was times that it looked absolutely real. I was just amazed with it.
It wasn't really
I know
a good
I'm gonna
movie,
get.
though.
I actually enjoyed it. So yeah.
All right.
I will publicly admit I enjoyed the movie. I was very, very impressed with the graphics. Maybe I was watching the graphics more than the storyline. But yeah, I remember it coming out, and the graphics. I mean, you couldn't believe that it was all computer. I mean, there's parts, of course, you can tell, but there's certain scenes with the people that they got the hair movement right. They got the people movement right. I was just.
And that's one of those things I think Square Enix literally during their R&D of graphics and what they can do computer wise and CG wise and pushing the limits for their games, they kind of I think they ended up with a bunch of scraps and little quick takes and pieces that they were able to put together into a movie, and that's what they gave everyone. R&D movie, but I think they also learned from their failure back in the Final Fantasy XI. It did okay, but it was rough, and it seems like they are learning. So they keep patching. They keep, they learn and fix and move forward.
Do they have a scheduled time where they shut down the game to do updates every week?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I've not heard or seen anything about that. I know WoW kind of got into a schedule like every Tuesday for like half a day or something like that.
And it seemed like Tuesdays were like my free day to actually play. Somehow I always had that day off, and then.
Well, that's because everyone was working Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Because of the server times, so they would give you the schedule. So, I don't know. I've not really noticed that. They might do kind of a rolling system where maybe they shut down some of the servers. So the worlds are broken up into data centers, which is kind of nice. So all the North American data centers are on one. All the South Asian and all the Europe and all those, they're all in different data centers, kind of spread out, and that while they're all linked together and they all synchronize and you can play kind of cross data center. I don't think you can play. You can play cross servers, but not cross data centers. I think that would allow them to maybe update or patch one data center completely without affecting the others, and you could roll between them. I don't really know how they handle that. Obviously, there in the top of the screen, you can see the. I mean, look at the versioning number here: expansion 1, expansion 2, expansion 3, blah blah blah. So earlier it was mentioned how the first 60 levels are in a free trial. I ran into an issue there. I have actually paid for the game, and technically I'm like in that first free 30 days of playtime or whatever, because when you do the free trial, it allowed me to create the account, verify the account, download the trial version, and install it and try the game. And I had done that all on a laptop, which is fine. But then when I went to go put it on my main computer, I couldn't do it. They like locked it out and said, well, that email, that character, you've already downloaded your free trial. You can't do it again. Or it was very hard for me to figure out the free trial. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I like it well enough. I'm gonna buy it anyways. So I went ahead and bought it. And that's when I decided, hey, you know what? For my money, let's be honest. At the end of the day, these online games, it's up to them. They shut down the server. You've lost everything. other than screenshots, videos, movies, whatever you make of it. And that's where I thought, you know what? Why not? Why don't I stream Twitch, YouTube every minute of my gameplay? You know, even if it's a huge hard drive full of videos in the future, 25, 30 years from now, if you wanted to sit down and watch 1,000 hours of gameplay video of a game that I used to play, sure. I'll be 80 years old and maybe making video clips and memes out of stupid crap I got myself into back here in 2020. But at least I can, and I paid my rights for that, so I want it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's like taking photos at a wedding, and the wedding photos only last as long as the server decides to stay up. I don't think anyone's going to do that. They're going to have a local copy on a disc or something.
Or as long as the marriage lasts.
The photos last past a marriage. Photos last past a marriage. I'm pretty sure any celebrity can tell you that. Yeah.
The average person, though, I'm sure has the ceremony of burning the pictures or deleting them.
Well, that's why you do digital. So you do digital so you can reprint. And the hatred is that bad, you can burn the pictures all over again. So you can have like 5 burn parties a week. As long as you can print, I guess. You know. And let's be honest, 2021, you can burn them, but you keep the digital for memes.
Yeah.
Create a meme out of that. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's where it came from. If you check out my Twitch channel, follow me. I am one dude in an office in a room playing every inch of the game. So,
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, no editor, just me. I'm just streaming it and playing every inch.
So every single mistake, stupid thing says.
Yep.
Doesn't get edited out.
Yep. Killed by a ladybug on level, whatever. Yep. That'll be in there.
So I know that World of Warcraft has I keep going back to it because I played it for so long. But I'm really into this game.
It's a good watermark.
Yeah.
It really is.
But it has events scheduled. So does this have any kind of? I'm asking questions because I just started playing it, and
I spent more time on it.
You spent
at least two or 3 days now.
12 more levels on it than I have. I didn't know if there was like a calendar of scheduled events. Like World of Warcraft has the Dark Fair.
So there's that's actually a couple of different questions. So there's in-game groups that you can join. You talk to people, social side, the MMO backing of it all. And there is a calendar for events. I can't say I've really gotten to the point where I've really looked into that too much, but I know that they have an app. The iPhone app is really, really good for this this game. Can barely see that. That's my dude right there. But here, there's literally a community forum that you can get into. There's fellowships. There's a community function. There's an event function. A literal calendar on your phone that's in the game. Right down here, you can see. Get that to focus, but you can see there's all those events. There's contacts. You can add contacts. There's items, and you can buy and sell straight from your phone. Yeah.
So what is the name of the app?
XIV Companion.
XIV Companion.
Yeah. You're gonna look for that little, what do they call those, moogs or whatever? Little cats with the little glowing ball above his head. I think I typed in Final Fantasy 14 to get somewhere close. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so there's it's
on the store.
It's Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, here, just show the store. Yeah, it's
when I typed in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, it's right up there. Man, this thing does not like to focus. Yeah, it's right up there though. It's free. Um, it probably has some paid stuff in the app or whatever, but they do have an event center. Right now I don't think there's much PvP in the game, but they are working on adding an arena kind of setup. Um, and I know that's a huge draw for World of Warcraft fans, but if you look at the stats,
I
the
was
numbers
never.
are the names are now, or the numbers are now in favor of Final Fantasy over WoW. WoW has dropped probably below 1.5 million players, active players, and that counts all their bots and alternates at the same time. So you're probably talking a million or under. Is bad. It's a bad state of affairs, and I've logged in, just to kind of check the temperature of the water, and man, it's rough. Um, it's just not worth it. People burn through and boost all the way to the end, and I think Final Fantasy has always been more about the journey, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's why I'm saving every inch of it. I'm not boosting.
The thing with World of Warcraft, though, is our 8-year-old son was in as a test mode, but he's
Yeah.
just learning to read, so some of the words for the items would get him. So we could walk him through it, but and on this, it doesn't really. I enjoy it. I enjoy the non-talking. I enjoy having the text on there because I can read it faster and I can just click through it. So it may be hard
Well,
for me to try to stream it
yeah,
to let them read the text and
yeah. So
because I just click through it. I can read it faster and click through it and get through
it
it.
depends on how fast you can read, right?
Yeah, it's
That being said, the full download for um, Final Fantasy 14, all expansions and everything, when I did it, was like, I want to say like 35 gigabytes, and you're probably sitting on 171 in World of Warcraft, and that's because of honestly the sound files with the extra voices and the interactions and all that. The fully voiced game is just bigger. Um, there is voice acting in Final Fantasy, but it's more aligned with the main storyline than the side quests. The side quests are all textual. Uh, you know, of course, the movies are great, but um, the actual
yeah, the
gameplay has a
graphics are
lot of
just
text, which is nice. I mean, you can sit there and really get into it and read every bit, and your brain kind of gives them voices. Um, but if you're really busting through, you can just kind of double down on that clicking and click, 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 and just blast through and then read the summary in the journal. So it's kind of how you want to play. I mean, if you want to go out there and grind on a bunch of little ladybugs outside town at level 1 and just kind of have fun, sit back, whatever, that's fine. If you want to go into a dungeon and you know struggle, you can do that too. Um, it's a good system.
I am impressed with it.
Yeah, I
I'm very impressed with it. I mean, I
you
started
know
playing back in 2011. I
yeah.
mean, I had that, and I just I don't even remember what my character was. I don't remember what level I got to. I got frustrated with all the empty spots because at the time, I mean, they had just put it out and it was not complete whatsoever. Um, and I got frustrated with like the little mini games, and so I stopped playing it.
So one thing that was in Final Fantasy VII that I don't know if it was anywhere else, but it was called the Golden Saucer. It's like out in the desert. This big golden tower of gambling and mini games to waste extra gil. So after the main storyline of Final Fantasy VII, you could still play the game. So you'd run around and basically collect gear, collect money, collect materials, but then where do you burn it? Well, that was the Golden Saucer. And here again, we see in Final Fantasy 14, well, behold, there is a Golden Saucer again. And you can go there and you can gamble and play mini games and you can grind out mounts. I actually was talking to someone just the other day and they ground out a mount from the Golden Saucer. So it's in there. So even once you get past the first game part, you get past that main quest. There's a lot to do, um, and
And we know someone who plays these games just to collect mounts.
yes,
He
we
has
actually we know a family. There's three main gamers in the family. The one of them plays just for mounts. Plays games in general, WoW or whatever, just for mounts. Another one plays just for PvP. And that's what he does. He loves it. And then there's another one that plays it for community and PvE raids, dungeons, and stuff like that. And the one aspect out of all three of those that they're missing in Final Fantasy XIV is the PvP. That's it. Outside of that, they're all moving over. I mean, that's three of them right there, gone, leaving WoW. They're bored. The endless grind is just not worth it, especially when the next expansion comes out and then all your gear is complete junk again. It's a legendary world-ending bringing. Yeah, it's not good enough. Not, get something new. Worthless. I mean, kind of happens on all games, but you're always looking for better. But if you build a DLC or a expansion only around that weapon, it's really hard to backpedal. And I said that about WoW a long time ago. Shadowlands and the storyline. Where do you go next? I mean, you're at the gates of creation. Where do you go after that? Go back to Azeroth. Everything's going to be Why do it? There's nowhere to go. There's no literary storytelling mode. There's nowhere to go.
I know people just sit in town and talk though.
Yeah, but as WoW is a business model, where do they go? There's nowhere to take the story.
I mean, I think every game has to have an ending. I mean,
sure.
I mean, you play games to beat them and then move on.
Well, I think there's a lot of players in EVE Online that disagree with that.
EVE Online is very, very different.
It is.
It is very different.
You win that game by uninstalling it in Living Life. That's how you win.
EVE Online, I didn't even bring that game up. It is.
I played it.
Yeah.
2009 to about 2018, 17, something like that. I played it a long time, but you get to a point where, why am I doing it? Paying for my game time by playing in game, but it's not fun.
It had a lot of social aspects, though. I mean,
yes.
You were in a group that you could go online to their website and talk to them, and
it was a huge social aspect.
Yeah, but, it was.
They kept kind of screwing around with the core mechanics of the game, so every time they'd patch, you'd have to relearn it, and at the end, they were basically nerfing and buffing all these different things to get people to pay for game time rather than pay with in-game tokens. And that's exactly where WoW is, where you get 60,000 gold and you can buy a WoW token for another 30 days. Why are you playing? Do the math.
Social aspect, maybe.
Yep. $15 a month is less than one movie nowadays. And you're wasting, 9 hours a week grinding to make the money to pay for it? That's not playing a game. It's turned into a job.
If you have fun doing it, though, then it's not a waste of time.
Sure. Well, EVE Online, you literally can lose time and money by losing ships, too.
Yeah, but that's the game.
That's part of the game. But, it's just a little bit more boring. I don't know.
EVE Online is a very technical game.
It is. It's spreadsheets
Isn't
and space.
It free to try right now? Or what?
I think it's always free to try. It's like up to a certain level you can play however much you want. You just can't get past a certain technology point.
But the economy is based on the people.
Yeah. So the ship you buy and fly is made with the metal that is mined out of asteroids by other players.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. They pretty much drop blueprints for people to create with, and that's about it. Outside of that, and maybe some little quest lines to get some cash into the economy. Everything else is player based. People literally start businesses and what do you do? Oh, well, you give me all your stuff and I will transport it from point A to point B at a cheap price or whatever price, and I'll do it safely. And if it doesn't get there, I'll pay you back your money or more to cover what I lost. And that's a business. That's what they do. It's, but I don't play a game to. I don't want to play games to be a business. That's insane to me. Like,
you don't want to be a boss in a game.
I don't want to be a boss in a game. Why? Like, why? Well, even that. What? Single person. I don't want to have to log in and be like, oh my gosh, it's that time. I got to go play a game to, you know, make a living or something. And it's not even living; it's just in-game money. So it doesn't even do anything for you. Play for enjoyment. You know. Play for the story, and that's why, like I said, that's why I'm recording pretty much every minute of the Final Fantasy 14. I didn't do it with World of Warcraft. I kind of wish I did, but we didn't have these technology. This technology to really screen capture one to one like this and really capture it all. Years of excitement. I missed a moment because I wasn't recording it or screenshotting it, and I didn't have that capability even. Best I could do was find someone else doing it and save their gameplay. So the excitement, unexpected things that happen, you lose all that. And so I finally thought, to hell with it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to record it. So, and you can find all this on YouTube too, because I'm not a partner or anything. So as soon as I post here, I exported it over to YouTube, unedited. Just I'm simple like that. Just give me black coffee and I'll push it right over. So we're at about an hour.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do this more. Just kind of chat about things, put different movies in the background, talk about them. This has been playing the whole time. Obviously, it's like a 15, 20-minute video, and it's played about 20 times, something like that. And there's other movies,
Your
too.
Your math is a little wrong on that. If it's only been 1 hour.
You know what? It's a Sunday. I don't have to have the right math. So let me actually. So there's movies and titles, so I can actually go into the different titles here. I don't know if you want to. Do you want to see one before we exit, or
I can always play them on mine.
That's true. I just didn't know if you wanted to see your reaction on anything.
No.
All right. She wants to experience them firsthand. Okay. That's fine by me. That's why I'm recording all mine. So I can experience them secondhand, third hand, and fourth hand later. But yeah, and the data centers, there they are. Looks like there's these different data centers, and each one has a different location. So, my main character is on Gilgamesh. Honestly, that's because it was one of them I could pronounce. Yeah. There's Adamantois. Don't even know if that's the right way. Cactor, Fairy, Gilgamesh, Nova, Midgardsormr. Yeah. And then Sargantanus and Siren.
This is my favorite video, watching you try to pronounce these.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm not pronouncing them all. There's a lot in there. So, Cactar is actually my favorite character from the original old world Final Fantasy games. This little cactus that would dance, and I think he had 1 million hit points, and it was like a joke trying to kill him because he wouldn't do any damage hitting you. Can't really remember, but he's my favorite. But I do know that there's a couple of streamers on the Sargantanus and Siren and Cactor, and I'm sure there's streamers on every single one. But I don't really announce that I'm a streamer. I'm just saving my games, and this happens to be the easiest integration for it. And so I just went to Gilgamesh. I have a couple friends there anyways, so it makes that work a little easier. Of course, there's other names I would love to have, but I honestly think Square Enix reserved it for their own locations, because if you look over at the Japanese server, Chocobo, come on, that's the little chicken mouse you get. They reserve that directly for themselves. Um,
I would too.
yeah, Chocobo, Hades, Ifrit. These are all big summons in the game. Aegis. That's I think that's like the name of the lady that the girl that dies in Final Fantasy VII that like rocked the whole game, middle of the game. Huge turning point. I think there's actually tears shed because she's the main character in your party, and then they just kill her off. One of the first games I've ever
Spoiler alert.
had. Spoiler alert! 25 years ago.
Your mouth is off again.
Do you want me to look up when Final Fantasy VII came out? That is a long time ago. Yeah. I don't know. I would either go Chocobo or Yojimbo. Because, but yeah, it's like, okay, they saved some of those names for themselves, like Titan.
January 31st, 1997.
97.
97.
So how many years is that? 24 years. Okay, I was off by 1 year.
Doesn't seem like that long ago.
1 year. Yeah, so much for that math, huh? Anywho, so 25 years ago. Yeah, spoiler alert, 25 years ago. All right. Anywho, yeah, if you like the feed, you want to check anything out, have any questions, post them, send them to me. I'm in the game when I'm live. You can post them up. I'll get them. You can send me comments or anything like that. It's fine. I'm on YouTube also. These videos are on YouTube. Usagu Games. Same icons and everything. You'll see me over there. I should probably try to find a way to. I think it's linked in the bio, but you'll find it. But they're over there too, just to save them outside of Twitch servers, which are probably hosted on Google servers just the same. So it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm just going to be streaming it all, and I've decided to do everything on one character. Everything, mage, warrior, cook, everything. I'm doing it. I'm finally gonna buckle down and take on one of these and go for completionist, even though that's not really an achievement anymore in some of these bigger games like this. I don't think I'll ever get there, but I can sure as heck try. Every roll, everything. It's gonna suck because there's a couple of classes I don't cherish trying to level up, like Dancer, which actually has some of the best DPS in the game. There's a Dancer, yeah, I know.
A Dancer?
There's a Dancer.
Like DANCER. CER.
Yeah, she throws chakrams or something. There's fighters with bare fists and stuff like that. Ninjas, samurais, reapers, you name it. Machinists, little robots and stuff. Yeah, there's bard. There's a bard that fights with music and a harp. I don't really know how that works. I don't look forward to that at all. But I'm doing it because to not do every inch of the game, why shortchange myself? And I mean side quests and everything. And that means some of the harder content where you gotta grind and go for that RNG special drop. Yeah, you got to do it, but I can try. Main story quest, yeah, I'll knock that out 100%. Side quests, 100% as best I can. Classes, jobs, all that stuff, leveling them up, yeah, absolutely. Some of the more random bits that you got to go for, that's going to take a little bit more work, but that's a goal. Got to have goals, got to have a game plan. So first one, get my Arcanist all the way to the end, and get that XP boost that they kind of give all the other jobs and classes for being higher level than the rest. They kind of try to bring you up a little quicker, so they give you a little bit of an XP boost. Go from there. That's the overall plan. Might never get there, but if you don't have a plan, then you don't really have a road to follow. So that's what I'll do. And when I want to take a break from Final Fantasy 14, I will continually make videos and check in on New World because I think that it has a lot of potential. Going a little rough right now, but I think it does have a lot of potential in the MMO world. I think the combination of Final Fantasy, New World, and some of the other MMOs at the time of 2020, 2021, with COVID and people staying indoors and saying, yeah, screw overtime. I'm going to play some more games. Enjoy life. Mixed with, honestly, Blizzard continuing to poke holes in the bottom of their boat. It's like the perfect timing for someone else to step forward and say, you know what, even EverQuest. Did you know EverQuest is still going?
No, I did not.
EverQuest is actually still going. I couldn't even tell you how many people play it or anything about it. It might be private servers at this point, but
I remember meeting lots of people that played it.
Yeah, and it was like a first-person RPG. It was a little different.
I always wanted to get into it, but I could never afford to.
Yeah, it was kind of before I had the money to even get into anything, and pay schedule for Final Fantasy 14 is the same. It's like $15 a month, about the same. But I think you get a lot more. I think you do. I mean, if you want to sit around and fish, sit around and fish. If you want to, chop down trees, then chop down trees. If you want to, kill things, dungeons, whatever. They keep adding, so it'll be interesting to see what happens and where it goes. So I'm sure we'll do this again as the weather gets a little colder. We might try to do some firesides or something. Man, I have to move everything to try to get a fireside. Maybe a laptop up with streaming or something. I don't know, but yeah. Welcome to the channel. I'm Fasaga. This is Crystallis, and we're going to get in Discord kind of going so we can all talk while playing and mock me horrendously about stupid shit like my carbuncle, aggroing 50,000 things at once when I don't want it to, or I tell my carbuncle to put a protective shell around me and I forget which one I have out and he aggroes the whole room. Yeah. It'll happen. It hasn't quite happened yet. Got close. But yeah. So it happens.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Yes. Have a wonderful evening or morning, wherever you happen to be.